All right.
Okay. Okay, good
Yay.
afternoon. It's Lorraine in Astoria, British Columbia, and we're going to do our final ownership principles with the core alignment principles, and we're focusing on P for pleasure. And believe me, nowadays we really like to have pleasure. So I'm going
Yeah.
to pass it over to our host, Lynne Hilderman. Take it away.
Well, pleasure. It's a pleasure to have a computer that's working. I had it upgrade before everything started today. So, and then it threw off my speaker system. Who knows? Anyways, here we are. With pleasure, right? So we're gonna start with the question. The question we're gonna start with is a question anyone, anywhere, anytime can answer. And my name is Lynn, and I'm in Calgary, Alberta. And the question for today is, what types of games do you like to play? And I thought that would go along with pleasure, because pleasure is it's often we're playing when we're having, I think playing and pleasure go together. So a game that I like to play, well, I love playing card games. We play card games as a family, and we have a favorite card game that we play. It's called Hand and Foot, and it's because we can team up, and often, there's 6 of us or 8 of us, we can all play. And there's that team aspect to it, and it's a card game, and there's a whole bunch of decks of cards, and it's often just a lot of fun with my kids and their boyfriends and family, and it's just something we do after dinner, and it's just a fun way to spend time. So how about you, Dawn Marie?
I'm Dawn Marie, and I'm from Sacramento, California. And the game that I really enjoy is called Jenga. It's with the blocks, and it's about you trying to not knock over the blocks. And I get so tickled when someone wants to go in a certain area, and it's that area that's going to make everything tumble. So I would have to say it's playing Jenga with a good group of friends.
Awesome. How about you, Hattie Jane?
You come up with the most interesting word, because I'm realizing I don't play games. I really don't. We never have, really. It's like, oh boy, have I missed things in life.
Well, just say the question, what types of games do I like to play, and see what's the first thing that comes up.
Okay, by the way, I'm Hattie Jane. I'm in Falls Church, Virginia. I got my work. And what kind of games do I like to play? Nothing comes to mind. Hey, the only thing you think of, there's a little thing on our little gizmos that you put puzzles together. And I can spend hours doing, bringing up a picture, breaking up, putting the puzzle in the parts. I can spend hours doing that. That's me. So.
Cool. That's awesome. How about you, Olive?
My name's Olive. I'm in Saskatoon, Saskatchewan, and I like playing word games. I like playing Scrabble, and since I've had a phone, which is about 10 years, I guess, I've been playing Words with Friends, and it's a big time waster, but I justify it by thinking it helps my brain. That's my game.
How about you, Lorraine?
I'm Lorraine. I'm in Astoria, British Columbia, and I guess I'm a solo game player too. I like Sudoku. And of course, I went through a book of 100 Sudokus, and since I've finished that, I didn't go out and buy another book. Randall so graciously put the app on my phone. So guess what I spend time doing? Looking for numbers. Yes.
Oh, so awesome. I really think playing games has an element, whether we're doing it alone or whether we're doing it with other people, there's a certain pleasure I think happens with playing games, even if it's, solitaire on the phone or playing it with other people, there's an element of, there's no agenda. There's just, everybody's just showing up as they are, where they are at, and the focus is on playing. And so I think it goes along with bringing more pleasure into life. And I don't think pleasure has to be these outward things, but pleasure can be so much more. So
Yeah, I
what
just want to
is,
interject in before you start. I read just recently a report, and apparently there's been research that playing games and playing, word games and solitaire and things is very beneficial to the health. I don't know exactly where it was, but it came up on Facebook just recently. Anyway.
Well, what do you think the benefit of focusing on where I feel good or what brings me pleasure? What do you think would be the benefit of focusing on that? Olive?
I think it helps you to block out the negative influences in your life. Like we talked in the past about happiness, I think pleasure is choice you make, just like happiness.
Yeah, totally. How about you, Dawn Marie? What would be a benefit of focusing on pleasure or playing?
I think that it would, kind of help to clear the head, gives you an opportunity to, as Olive said, block out the negativity. But to me, it's also a way to just kind of wind down and take the busyness out of your head and, give you an opportunity to just sit and do nothing.
Good.
Yes.
How about you, Hattie Jane?
It's after so many years of meeting other people's schedules and doing activities and all, it's hard to realize how much I enjoy not doing anything, how much I enjoy doing things I enjoy. And I don't have to justify it to anybody because nothing's there. And I like it.
Nice. Nice. How about you, Lorraine?
Yeah, I think it also playing games and finding pleasure in some solitude or some activity like that really resets the nerve endings and resets your physical being, and just to kind of, it's like, I suppose, like meditation in a bit, it just resets the body and the mind and that inner activity within us. Yeah,
Got it.
I can
Got
picture
it.
that happening.
So what would be a way that you can bring more pleasure into your life right now? Hattie Jane?
Oh, no fair. It's like, because I'm trying to think, I'm having so much fun reclaiming my yard and kind of starting to reclaim my house finally after all these months and years. And I'm looking forward to reclaiming my ability to talk with people and get out and work on learning how to ask questions and get to know, be curious about them instead of wondering about it later after I leave them or I go someplace else. I look forward to being actively inquisitive again.
That reclaiming, hey? What about you, Dawn Marie?
Well, for me, I think it is being retired and being in control of my own schedule and, getting up when I want to get up and just planning my day around whatever I want to do and not have to have an agenda other than, if I've scheduled something. So I think that brings me pleasure.
Cool. Cool. Lorraine?
What brings me pleasure is oh dear, what brings me pleasure? I think it's just being able to accomplish something that is relaxing, and I like to bring that into my day and look at every activity that I do as a pleasure. even if it's, like even making a meal can be a pleasure if you put that mindset into doing that activity. It's not totally just sitting and doing nothing and playing Sudoku, but it's acknowledging that you put pleasure in every activity that you do.
Mhm. Right, yeah. Yeah, when I think about that bringing, what brings me pleasure is and that maybe it kind of goes into some of our other conversations around choosing to see something differently. And I like some of the words that you guys have been using, the reclaiming, the relaxing. It's like these revisiting. There's so much pleasure in looking at things. And if I look at something as a chore, that's one perspective. But if I can go and look at it as what way can I reclaim it and have it be more pleasurable, as opposed to looking at it as something I have to do. So it's interesting because, especially within bodies, because it's really easy to focus on the tightness or the soreness or the things that are not right in our bodies. And especially as a massage therapist working on people, people are often coming in with a tight this or a owie that or whatever. But it's like, what way can I ask the question of what's feeling good? Where's the part that's feeling good when the other part is feeling bad? And playing with that. And because there's always going to be the part that's restricted and the part that's open. So what way do you think pleasure plays a part in looking at the parts that are closed and looking at the parts that are open? Lorraine?
I think, yeah, I have to be aware that looking at breathing into those tight spots, and if it's tight, just breathe into it and acknowledge it and try to relax it by breathing into it. And I do that every day when I get up off the chair, to breathe into this hip that's given me a little owie. And once I do that, it's amazing how that relaxes the muscles and relaxes you. And it's that breath into that tight area.
Got it. What about you, Olive?
Run that question by me again.
So what way, with looking at the places that might be restricted or don't feel good, and then the places that do feel good, what way do you see pleasure being a part of looking at, the things that are tight and the things that are expanded?
I think sometimes my attitude is restricted. I'm a bit of a homebody, and during COVID, I think it was easy to get into that stay-at-home rut. And once I get out and get involved in an activity and involved with people, I enjoy it. So I think I have to strike a balance between. I think it's my mindset that needs to be altered rather than so much physical stuff.
Got it.
Good.
How about you, Dawn Marie?
I would have to say, right off the top of my head, the first thing that came to me is, after being married for 19 years and then going through a divorce and being single for 10 years, it's like trying to open up your heart again and allowing someone to get close to you. Well, I'm doing that. And as a result of that, it brings me pleasure that I'm able to, step into that realm of trusting someone. And so it takes a lot of work, and it's scary on top of that, because you want to be vulnerable, but you don't want to be vulnerable where they take advantage of you. But getting to that place of letting go and allowing someone to come in and bring you pleasure. whether it's on the phone, whether it's on a date, whether you hang out, whatever you do, I think getting to that place of allowing someone else in your space in close proximity.
Cool. Awesome. How about you, Hattie Jane?
I'm not quite to that state of health yet. However, when I go to get up and my knees creak and crack and suddenly I can't stand up straight, but then I get up and I am up straighter and I go, yes, I made it this time. Yes, I'm doing it now. and it's looking for the times in which things are flowing so much fun and physically moving about, feeling good and going, yes, that is all right. And when they're not going so good, the deep breath and relax and go and work on myself. Allow myself to recline in the area that gives me the energy that works with my energy, and I balance out better. And they go, okay, we're going to do it again. And the nutrition and just recognizing that I'm paying attention and that it does have an opinion. It does have an effect, a good one. So that's fun.
Oh, that's
And
cool.
I could not do it in previous years, not because I didn't want to, not because I didn't try to. It was because I always would be mindful of other obligations and other interactions that I would be paying more attention to than paying attention to myself. So
Wow.
this is a gift of time that I'm still alive and I get to enjoy it.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Taking that outside perspective. That's one of the principles of core alignment and emotional wisdom training. Is one of the things that we're doing here is stepping outside and seeing things from a third person point of view and gathering information as we do that. And so when I think of pleasure for myself and looking at the places that I might be restricted and then the places that I might be open, I think that if I can take that outside perspective, it gives me a broader scope of what's actually available. And to me, that brings me pleasure because it brings me more choice. And so even if, if it's doing something new where I might be meeting somebody for the first time where I don't know them, right? Or going into a new relationship or being with a new client where I don't know them, I think it helps to take that outside perspective and look at, what part is making me feel good about this and what part feels a little bit stuck or a little bit sticky, and how can I bring more movement and flow into those areas. So we've been focusing on pleasure. So what will you take with you from all of these conversations that we've been having? We started, way back when, probably, I think 10 conversations ago, talking about taking more ownership for your health, and then also looking at different aspects. And I believe, I'm not sure, what was the O, Mom?
The O was opportunities.
Opportunities. So we had opportunity, we had wisdom, we had
Nurturing, enthusiasm,
yeah,
respect,
yeah,
satisfaction, honor, impeccable, and now pleasure.
yeah. So looking back on all of those conversations and ending off with this possibility of adding more pleasure to what you're doing, what will you take with you from these conversations that will support you until we meet again? Dawn Marie?
What I will take is the fact that it's a mindset. You have to step into each one of these areas that Lorraine just mentioned. And if you step into it, you never know what you're going to get out of it. So, being open to step into doing something that's not something that you would do normally, but getting pleasure out of it because you went ahead and did it anyway.
Awesome, awesome. How about you, Hattie Jane?
That I really, over the years, I've actually learned some things. And there's still more to learn, and I have time to do it. And
Mhm.
it was fun.
Beautiful. Olive?
Uh, I think what I've taken from these weeks is that we can learn so much from each other.
Mm.
We just listen. That's what I've learned.
Lorraine?
What I'll take away from all this past session of ownership of through the principles of the core of alignment, it's been amazing, and it's been amazing just to zero in on a particular note, word, and dissect it, and then it just by the through our conversations, how it changes sort of, okay, there is two ways maybe to look at these words. I'm thinking of last week was amazing, because all of a sudden it's not just the one I thought it was going to be, but there is a possibility of looking at it from a different angle. And I guess that just takes it looking outside of that third drone experience to look at these things. And no, it's been absolutely amazing, and it's very heartwarming to sit and discuss things like this.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, what I take away from this conversation, or in these whatever 10, 12 weeks, I think it's 10 weeks, is that the present is always unfolding. And, we're showing up for 30 minutes, focusing on having a little bit of an idea of what we're going to focus on, and then looking at where we've come from and where we are now, and going, wow, this has been a pleasurable process. and the other thing I take away is just the light that is coming off of everyone's faces and the youth that's there.
Oh,
And so I just go, wow, what else is possible to just keep, bringing this possibility of taking more ownership for our health.
mhm.
And whatever it looks like, it could be something physical, or it might be something else. So I'm taking away, a sense of playfulness. So what will you take with you that'll support you for the rest of your life? Hattie Jane?
I'll let you know when I get there.
Awesome. That's awesome. How about you, Olive?
I think I'll focus on another P word and go with possibilities. I think there's a lot of possibilities that I need to embrace.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Yes.
Dawn Marie?
What I will take away is fear of the unknown. I didn't know that by participating in this 30-minute, once a week opportunity with people that I don't know, that it brought me such peace. I just zoned in, it's on my calendar, I make it happen. And I always leave feeling uplifted. So I think I will just take away the fact of fearing the unknown, never knowing what it's going to be.
Awesome. How about you, Lorraine?
What will I take away for the rest of my life? I'm like you, Hattie Jane. Wait till I get there.
Yeah.
We're cut from the same cloth, aren't we? So I think it's good. The rest of my life is going to be pretty awesome.
Yeah, what I take for the rest of my life is that things are always moving, and they're always changing and yeah, the great mystery, maybe similar to what Don Marie's, there's just sort of this opening to this great mystery and having fun with it. So, well, thank you all for showing up. I'm sure we'll be doing more as it all unfolds. So we
Yeah.
probably won't do anything until maybe the end of September though, hey?
Yeah, well, yeah, with you being with your course. So we'll keep you posted. We'll come up with some other, Lynn will come up with some bright idea and we'll go with it. Okay, I'm going to
pressure,
stop her.